Alright, you gotta understand one simple thing. No business owner that's doing 50K a month or above is doing everything by himself. Such a business owner doesn't exist. I don't think it's even possible, to be fair. But for some reason, probably 99.9% of these geeky coaches out there are too egotistical to understand that they are not supposed to know everything. They're not supposed to know the sales, know all the ins and outs. They're not supposed to know how to track. They're not supposed to know how to, I don't know, deliver on top of running all the marketing strategies, whatever. Genuinely, what a business owner needs to be master at, I believe, is two things. First thing being, by the way, this is just my humble opinion. First thing being just building a brand, spreading his own message, being unique, being authentic. That's the first thing that a business owner needs to become a master at, because if he's not, then he's just a copy. He's just a cheap Chinese copy of probably his mentor, or I don't know, just some random guy that he looked up to. And the second thing they need to become a master at is the delivery. Anything outside of that can be delegated and should be delegated, to be fair, because look, every 50K a month business owner has a killer setter or a killer closer, killer manager, or just in general, a killer sales team in place. And in this video, I'm gonna explain exactly why and just how. Why and how you can get your hands on the best killer setter that you can possibly find in the industry, that's been through the best training that you can find in the online space, of course mine. And I can even give it to you for free. I will give it to you for free, genuinely. Just comment and reach out to me, and honestly, no strings attached. I'll just hop on a call or even ask you to send me a quick voice note if you don't mind. I don't know. And I'll send you a setter for free. No charge. Honestly. I'll just run everything. I'll just post an opportunity for you. Forward you 10, 15, 20 best setters that you can find in the market, and you decide for fucking free. But, what I said earlier, a lot of business owners have an ego, which is terrible, and they're not letting anyone teach them or show them the ways. Because look, how I even got in the first place to the position where I've scaled businesses to over 50K a month with ease. First and foremost, a lot of people out there in the industry would just try to sell you some shitty funnel that would probably even be literally the same as every other funnel in the industry, but they would just rename it, they would rebrand it and sell it as a new shiny object thing. I don't even know. So yeah, point of the story is that there is no shitty funnel whatsoever. Honestly, it's one simple thing. It all comes down to just having one hungry setter who is, just ready to work. Ready to work. And like I said, in this video, I'm gonna walk you through these four simple things, four simple steps, and four simple explanations on why having setters is important, why commission only is the way, was the huge mistake that most of the CEOs do when hiring or trying to scale, and why the quality of setters is extremely important. So to begin with, like I said, no shitty funnel, just one hungry setter that is literally going through the do or die time phase. I love to call it do or die time because, you know, when it's do or die time, especially as a man, when your back is against the wall, then you don't have any other choice than to operate like it's literally do or die time. You need to make it happen, or you are probably gonna go homeless. I don't even know. Be penniless, not being able to pay any bills. I mean, that's how I was literally 2 years ago when I got fired from my first proper offer. I got fired after a year, and yeah, I was like, oh damn. Now when I, proved myself, when I made successfully or 5K a month, I can dive into running my own business. And like I said, my back was against the wall. I had to make it happen. I did, and here I am. But honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it all without having any setters. So the real question is, why setters? Why? The importance of setters can't be can't be explained honestly. Like it can't be overstated, because setters are by far, in my opinion, the most important people that you can hire for yourself. By far. No, like no questions asked. And the reason is simply uh, not only, you'll see later down the line in the video, not only to save you time or just print you more, but genuinely just so you can have a person who will put his life on the line for you and for your company. You get me? You need someone with the knowledge. You need someone with the knowledge who is just an expert in bringing leads. I don't know, let's say lead flow. Who is expert in building you a lead flow. For example, you are struggling, you're drowning, your business is dry as fuck, you're not running ads organically. Yeah, it's not working. So now you need someone who's gonna do the outreach for you, let's say. A killer setter, someone who is, going through this do or die time period, who needs to pay his bills, will do everything in his power to provide you with leads, especially if you're a proper business owner with a good closing rate, of course. Bro, you guys are just going to print because he's an expert. And you know what's the thing? You probably are a very, very knowledgeable person when it comes to creating leads out of thin air, when it comes to converting them, closing them, but you might be forgetting one extremely important thing, which is just the fact that you can get easily overwhelmed. Now, let me explain. What do I mean by overwhelmed? Look, as a business owner running a six-figure business, like a multi six-figure business, 50K a month plus, you have so many different aspects that you need to take care of. You need to, obviously, deliver. What else do you need? Guess what? You need to, uh, let's say, build a brand, what I said earlier. You need to build a brand. You need to take care that your brand is constantly on point, that it's constantly someone that every single other person would be willing to work with, right? You need to do that. You need to, of course, post content. Let's just put it this way. Let's just put it this way. You just need content, whether that's on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. You just need content. And there are so many other things that you also need. And while doing all of that, how will you be able to spend 4, 5, 6 hours a day typing messages, booking them in, or even if you need dollars? Imagine doing $100 a day. Brain power is absolutely wasted. Your brain power is drowning, honestly. Brain power non-existent almost, and you wasting your brain power on these low leverage activities result in you just going through a burnout stage, because overwhelming yourself with these low leverage activities will not do you good. Will not, because I'd say that if you think about risk to reward ratio, I think risk is higher than the reward. Because imagine you spend 5 hours a day, which is 35 hours a week. That's already almost like a 9 to 5 time that you're putting in, right? And you get maybe, let's say in the best case scenario, you get maybe 5 sales, which is, almost one a day on a weekly basis, of course. So you get 5 sales and you're charging 5K, 25K, amazing. But how will you be able to deliver then in order to run a sustainable business? Because that's new. That's 5 new highly paying clients that are now a burden for you. So you can't go on forever, which then gets you to the point where, like I said, you're not running a sustainable business and you're not able to take as many clients as you want on a monthly basis, day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out. You're just not able to do so. Why? Because you just can't be focused on delivering them. But if you're focused on delivery, how will you be able to bring new clients, And one thing is attached to another. So with that being said, setters just delegate for like what, 5, 6, 7, in the best case scenario for a setter, 10%, and just give him few hundred per sale that he brings you, because profit margins will still stay high, you know. And now when we're at the profit margins, when we're at these percentages, why commission only is the way? It's actually extremely simple. Commission only, commission setters that are working on a commission only, are by far the best that you can find in the market, because they are fully aware of their work. They're fully aware of how much work they need to put in order to get their very desired outcome. Now, here's a perspective. When I was working as a setter, and still to this day as a manager, I work on a commission basis, because every single day I wake up with a purpose. I'm like, all right, I need, I don't know, I need a new MacBook. All right, amazing. I'll just work a bit extra. I'll work for 2, 3 more hours and I'll just stack up commission so I can buy myself a new MacBook. whatever. Every single day you wake up with a purpose to make more. Because look, you can make as much as you want. Like your income, I mean, not yours, but the income of the setters or the sales team that you're going to be hiring is uncapped. The more they work, the more they learn, the better they get, the more they make. It's a simple math. But on the other hand, when you have someone who is, I don't know, working on a base, let's say 2K base, which is honestly kind of rare nowadays, but just for the sake of an example, 2K base, if they book one call for you per day, that's 30 calls a month, they'll get 2K base. If they book 5 calls a day, which is 150 calls in a month, they still get 2K base. So therefore, they lose that fire. The call that they book just stops being their source of dopamine. When I was working as a setter, purely on a commission basis, and like I said, to this day, when I'm working as a manager on a commission basis, every single call that either me or my setters that I'm managing that we book, I'm happy as fuck. That's my source of dopamine because, I know that the higher the quality of a prospect I book, the higher the chances of me stacking these juicy commissions one on top of another. No base. What the hell we're talking about? What base? If you want the base pay, if you want to be secure, like as a setter, then you can just work a 9 to 5. And that's you, a business owner doing 50K a month. That's why you should be looking for setters that are commission only because they are aware that they need to pay the bills. They are aware that they need to provide for their families. They're aware that if they want to travel themselves, they need to work. They just need to work because, yeah, what's the point? What's the point? Especially, I mean, if you're a business running this 50K a month plus business or trying to get there, trust me, the volume is going to get insane. Or if the volume doesn't get insane, the quality of prospects is going to go up. It's just going to go up, and you'll need someone who has the brain power and willingness to convert them, because you always want for your setter to have something in it for him as well. Because if there's nothing in that conversation for the setter, then why would he be bothered to like push, fight for the sale or whatever? He's just, yeah, whatever. You get me? So that's why you need someone with a proper mentality who is ready to work on commissions and who's just ready to grind day in and day out, consistently, 5, 6 hours a day. And while he's doing so, guess what you do? You just deliver, build your brand, and record content. That's all. Because remember, this whole this whole lead flow, the whole backend side of the business is sorted with one simple addition to your team, right? Now, third, I'd say this is one of the biggest mistakes, huge mistake that most of the CEOs make. They just hire a setter to save them time, you know, but they don't realize that a setter is also someone, it's by the way directly attached to this fourth thing that I'm going to talk about. So let me do it this way, is directly correlated to this. You need someone who is ready to just, I'd say, scale an entire company. That's the thing. You need someone who is just capable. Actually, let me put it this way. You need an A player. It's as simple as that. I was about to say that you need someone who is capable of bringing the whole company to another level. But in other words, that's just an A player. Trust me, one A player is more important than 20 B players. If you have 20 setters, let's say if you're, I don't know, fucking, I don't even know, a business running millions a month, having 20 sales team members, trust me, 20 sales team members is not as worth as 2 or 3 A players. Because, these guys are the guys who are leading an entire company. These are the guys who are, carrying it all on their shoulders. And you need someone like that because in these terrible times when the business goes dry, of course, we all go through that phase. We all go through the phase where one month is not as good as you'd prefer because, I don't know, the lead flow is just dry, closing rate is down as well, videos are not performing, whatever you can think of. You need an A player who's going to push an entire company. You need that. And the huge mistake that CEOs make is just them going for a cheap option. They're going for a cheap option thinking, oh yeah, I'll just have someone save my time and, you know, here and there make some more cash. And if they don't make more cash, they're gonna blame it on a setter, of course. When in reality, they were just cheap. You know, they were just cheap. That's the same as, let's say, since I already said an example of me buying a Mac, I need a new laptop and I buy some shitty laptop for like 200 pounds, whatever, 200 euros. And then it goes, like, it breaks down within like a month. And then I start blaming it on the laptop itself. I start blaming the company that, you know, produced that PC, that laptop. Well, instead of me being cheap as fuck and buying that shitty thing, why don't I buy a Mac and actually invest in myself, quality wise? You know, quality costs. And that same way, the reason I said that quality of setters is directly correlated to this huge mistake CEOs make is because they don't invest in quality. They just invest in, they don't invest whatsoever, to be fair. They don't invest whatsoever. The more they make, the less they invest. I don't even know why. I truly don't know why. But the thing is that when you find someone cheap and then get him in, you can't even comprehend how many terrible things can happen to your business. Not only that the person is not bringing you money, look, not only that the person is not bringing you money, but they also lose you money. Imagine running ads, just 50 a day, which is what? 50, 1.5k a month. 1.5k a month on ads, and you convert only, I don't know, 3 or 4 people. Yes, you do get the return, but can you imagine how much more would you be able to get back by having a killer setter? And that's not everything. That's not all. Trust me. Not only that the guy is not making you money, not only that the guy is losing you money, but he's also helping other competitors directly. Because this is how it works. You have a prospect, and he gets to you. You know, this right here is you, king, you know, a good business owner. This is your crown, whatever. You get the point. And he gets to you. Now, he is looking at you from, he's looking at you as as an authoritative figure who can help him get to the next level. And then your setter, your shitty setter in the DMs, not knowing how to handle that entire combo, he fucks it all up. He fucks it all up, and now the prospect is not interested anymore. Guess what's gonna be the next step, the next move that he is going to do? The next move is gonna be like him thinking, oh damn, yeah, this guy is not good. Let me find another guy. And this right here is your competitor. This right here is your competitor who knows how to deal with stuff. And look, he invests into him. He invests into your competitor because he's just someone who listened to him, who showed understanding, who showed empathy. And guess what your setter did? Guess what he just did there? He not only haven't made you money, but he also gave your money to your competitor. So, you know, the money that was sitting on the table waiting for you to get it, yeah, the guy was just the guy just decided to, the prospect, I mean, just decided to go to your competitor and, yeah, invest into him. So, guess what? Invest into quality. Trust me, you don't, I mean, you can find some great setters for free, to be honest, but the thing is that those are already probably on some sick rolls, so why would they trade their comfort for another offer? And then the quality of setters. Last but not least, I've seen a lot of people. So, truth to be told, I do sell my entire package, you know. I do sell it in my B2B agency. I mean, like I said earlier, I can just give you setters for free, but when it comes to my entire package, me providing all the services, I do charge. And then some of the most common objections I've been seeing is like, oh yeah, I can find it on my own. And then the thing that they do is they go on Fiverr or they go on Upwork or they just, I don't know, hire someone that's been doing outreaches. You know, they just get in their DM request and hire someone. Outreach. Oh yeah, I misspelled, but you get the point. He just goes in his DMs request and hires someone who's been doing outreaches, and that's not good. That's not good. Why? Because I've never even met anyone who found real success by hiring people from Fiverr or Upwork because these are just cheap workers that made an advertising post about their services praying someone's gonna, like, you know, catch it. they're just praying that someone is gonna bait catch the bait or whatever. Oh, I mean, on the other hand, hiring setters that do outreaches to you is fine because you gotta respect the grind, and people that get hired, those setters that get hired, usually practice what they preach. So they might be good because if they got hired, it means that they've been doing something right. Therefore, they might do the right work in the company as well. But still, that's not the best quality of setters that you want to be looking for, because when you hire someone from these sources right here, their knowledge about, I don't know, CRMs or KPIs, or I don't know, submitting daily reports. What else can I think of? I don't even know. Oh yeah, I mean, qualifiers, wait, reports. Yeah, damn, I'm actually drowning right now. Daily reports, uh, qualifying, all those, all those things. Then booking process, I mean, converting, whatever. All these things are just not developed enough, and the only way this can work would be by you as a business owner investing probably, I don't know, 2 3 weeks of your time, day in and day out, hopping on these daily calls with him to just teach him all the ins and outs about your business and about your ways of doing the business, which is, guess what? It's just not sustainable, because what we discussed earlier, you would get overwhelmed, and you'll lose your brain power and focus on these low leverage activities that can simply be delegated. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to sell you any services of mine, but trust me, you just need, if you're not down to have some manager in your business, then you just need to take care that your setters are of a high quality and that everything runs automated. Because at the end of the day, this is how I feel about this whole thing when it comes to setters. And this is just something that I've seen uh, being done in the businesses that I've been partnered with. This is how I scaled all the businesses that I've scaled to over 50K a month. This is how. I just realized that setters equal just automation in a way. Because while you're focused on high leverage activities, on the activities that are directly bringing you cash, they're just working their asses off so you can hop on these calls, so you can just have your calendar filled out, and so you can dedicate your time and effort towards high leverage activities. Once again, delivering, closing, and building your brand. I can't think of three activities that are more high leverage than those three, honestly. But like I said, it all comes down to you having enough brain power, enough will, enough I don't even know what else. Like just brain power and will, hunger, I'd say maybe, to build it all, and yeah, to put your ego aside and just let someone do the work for you. That be it. Thanks for watching, and I guess you found something. I mean, I hope you found something useful. I guess you're just gonna go out there and utilize it, because this is A to Z what I have done for the business that I've scaled to over 50K a month. Specifically for a guy that I started working with in January, he was doing 6K a month. Now he's on 170. We're aiming to hit 200K a month by the end of this year. So we've got, yeah, November and December, 2 more months to hit it. I mean, stay tuned for more. Subscribe if you'd like for more free sauce like this, and I'll see you in the next video.